So yesterday we discussed about how to start the HANA databases, how to stop the HANA databases, then how to add the systems into the HANA Studio. So then those things we check it out. So for checking the status, maybe you can just go to the here HANA Studio. When you double click it, it will always ask the user ID and password. Then initially we are logging with the system user, right? We don't have any user, only system. Then you can use the system user here, then execute. In any case, you are unable to connect here. So you need to check whether my HANA database is up and running or not. So in this case, suppose you want to switch the user, right? Why? Because all the administration, OS level, admin level activities we have to perform from SID ADM. SID means HDB ADM. HDB ADM here. So then execute like HDB space info, HDB space info here. So that if you just execute it here, then it will show the list of process which are running at operating system level. List of process means our seven family members, which it will show the display here, right? So this is the daemon. Under the daemon, so we have remaining 5 processes are available here, right? Remaining 5 processes are available here, right? So all these things are remaining 6 processes are available here, total 7, right? So remaining 7 are available under the daemon here. So if this process not exist, means not showing here, when you execute HDB space info, which means your HANA database is stopped, so are not working here. So you connect it to the system DB. At the same time, you can also use the tenant DB also, right? Tenant DB also we can connect to the tenant DB also. You connected here, right? System DB and tenant DB also you connected here, right? So the administration page is opened here. So as part of yesterday's discussion, we discussed about the overview tab. Overview tab means it will give the glance. Glance means just a summary of the all our database things and everything here. Whether the database is started, then what is the usage? So then what is the version of the database here? Then and what is the OS version? And so what is the memory version? And memory, what is the used memory, resident memory, CPU usage, and disk volume. Disk volume means data volume / data, log volume / log volume, and trace / shared. So all this information will be displayed here. All the information will be displayed in the overview page here. So if you want to go detailed information, then subsequent tabs you need to open it here. Suppose all the services are started, that means we need to check what are all the services here, right? Here you can see the 7 core process we have HANA, right? Those are the active status, active. What is the host name? This is the host name. What is the port number? What is the service name here? So what is the startup time? When was the last restart happened? So this is the one. So CPU utilization, memory utilization, graphical way. This is the refresh button. It will give the graphically the utilization may change it here. This information will give you in the landscape tab here. In the landscape tab, it will provide the status of your family members. Family members means so your all the HANA core process related information will be displayed here. How it is running. So is there any memory issues? Is there any CPU issues? If it is a CPU issues, 100% it will come to the here. It is a memory issue, then this box will be filled here. If this box is filling means, so definitely there is a memory issue. Then we need to find out. So like this, we have to find out the issues here. So alerts tab. If any issues, definitely here it will be detected here. So today third as per the system time zone, so not the today 4th, but as per the system yesterday, at 1 p.m. we have the one alert occurred, database backup does not exist, right? And also day before yesterday, they deprecated future API. So that alerts are occurred. These alerts are occurred to the, so your mailbox. Sorry, your alerts are displaying in your, you want to see the all the alerts. You can see the all the alerts. Sir, I don't want to see the all the alerts here. I want all these alerts to the my email box. Why? Because mailbox every time we will monitor, right? So every time we will monitor the our email boxes, we will monitor. So not at the same time daily. So every time, every minute to minute, we will not check the this one, right? But everywhere, every time, so we will open the Outlook and we will see the any emails are coming, alerts are generating or not. That we will check it out. So why can't we generate the emails, right? We can also configure the email configuration also here. To perform this email configuration, go to the alerts tab here. So just there is a configure here. You configure this button here. You see here you have to enter the sender email address. So sender, the mails come from whom? Maybe normally the organization, they will reply like no reply dot, suppose like my company .com, something like that they will create, right? And SMTP server. So every organization, they have the own SMTP mailbox server is there to receive the mails, right? So normally here I will use the smtp.gmail.com, Google SMTP server, just here. Recipient's email address here, recipients means, so who should receive the emails? Who should receive the emails here? Suppose like SAP basis team should receive the emails here. Then who receive the emails? Other team also should receive the emails. Like this, you need to add all the recipients here. All the recipients you have to add it here. .01. So basis team .01 at so mycompany.com. Suppose like our distribution list, our DL list or distribution list, we have to add to the here. So like this, we have to add our distribution list to the here. Just click on the OK button, so that whenever is there any issues, whenever any issues here, so suppose if any alert is generated here, immediately the alert will be received to the your email box, your inbox, you will receive the alerts. So based on that, immediately you will go and you will check the what is the issue and everything. You will get it out here. So this type of configuration also we can perform from HANA Studio, email configuration. In the alerts tab, here we can check the email configuration and everything we can find out from here, right? So what and all the
here can we get the priority wise alerts?
Yeah. Yes. Here
I don't want
here suppose what and all the things you should receive, what and all the things you should not receive here. You can see here checks receive, go to the thresholds, you can set the thresholds here manually. You can just set the thresholds here, so that based upon the threshold you will receive the emails here. So total this many checks are there here to receive the alerts here. No, I don't want to all, I want only the specific. Then you can check what are the specific things you should receive. Then only add the recipients to the only that one. So you will only receive that one. Okay, so that's your wish. How you want to go? That's your wish. So you want to increase, I want to all, but I want to just revisit the I want to revisit my thresholds. Suppose CPU utilization is low is 95, medium is 98, and high is when. Then I want low is the 90. 90% is that's then dangerous status. I want to revise. Then you can revise it here. So like that also you can change the thresholds here. I want my table growth. So this one. I want, so something like whatever you want here. So you can just change the thresholds here. So that based upon that, it will be checked here. Based upon that, it will be checked in the systems here, right? So suppose you don't want everything should do. You want only specific things. Then you can just, I want only physical memory usage, disk usage, inactive services, restart services. I want only these four alerts to be the specific recipients here. Then, so just you can configure your distribution list so that only the specific one. So this one, this one, this one should be assigned to the, so one more person, SAP basis.0.com at mycompany.com, right? My company. This should go to the L2 team here. So, right, then it should go to the L2 team here. So like this, so you are distributing here. Like this here, you are assigning to the alerts here, right? Assigning to the multiple alerts to the multiple people. That's your wish. How you want to go, you can assign to that alerts here. So that is the concept is available in the, so here, right? So this is the alerts configuration, right? So what and all the things it is checking means you can see it here, right? So the next go to the performance tab here. So this is the very important tab, this performance tab. Performance, in the name itself, we have the performance tab means, in the name itself we have. So if system, any performance issues, any performance issues or any slowness, any memory issues, anything is going wrong, you will check the, first of all, our main point of contact is performance tab guy here. Why? Because whenever user login, there is a one session will be allocated here. There is a one session will be allocated for each and every user here. Session means whenever the user login, there is a one session allocated. Suppose I logged into the HANA Studio. So then see here. So I logged into the HANA Studio here. Then my session is allocated here. My session is running here. How I logged in? HANA Studio application I connected. So which user? I using the administrator user. Then I am using the administrator user. So this is the client host. This is the IP. With me, I'm not only one, I am using the administrator user. I'm not only one person here. Here, there is a one more person is logged in, Naresh. So Naresh also, one more user also is connected here. Then he is also using the system user. Then same IP. Then is the different process ID. So different, he is not doing anything currently. That's the reason. So nothing is not active currently. Is not in the system, is not active. Just HANA Studio he opened. So that session is idle status currently. Currently, I'm only one person active. So that's why my session is showing the active session here. So each session, whenever the user log into the session, for that session, there is a one session will be created in the session tab. So one session, it will initiate the multiple actions, right? You will log into the database level with one session. You will use the multiple activities. You are doing multiple activities, parallel activities. Then in this case, each activity, there is a one thread will be allocated. So multiple activities, multiple threads, one user, one session, multiple threads will be allocated here. Multiple threads will be allocated. See here. So I am checking the, so I am just using what is the thread method, what is the thread SQL executor, job worker types. So with my user, with application user, my user, I am using this many actions I am doing currently now in the system. So system will allocate this one automatically. System will allocate this one. So in any case, something going wrong, worst case scenario, we can also cancel the session also. Suppose we can also right click and cancel the session. We can also right click and cancel the session so that the session will be cancelled. The session will be cancelled here. The session will be cancelled. Suppose sometimes we may observe, so the user will log in, is pulling lot of data from the database level, right? Number of queries he executed very high, number of records he fetched more. Then so average response time. Then so all the information is very high here, right? All the information is very high here. So then in this case, system performance is slowing down because of the one user. Then immediately what we will do, we will just click on the user, just cancel the session. Then just we will cancel that user session. We will cancel it here. So like this, we can just perform the. We can also kill the sessions in the performance tab. In the performance tab, the which user, whoever log into the system, the users related all the information will be, all the sessions are created here. All the sessions are created here. Each session, there is a multiple threads are allocated. Multiple threads are allocated based upon the work they are doing in the system. Multiple threads are allocated here. So then you can see the blocked transactions. Blocked transaction means here sometimes the transactions may be blocked, deadlocks. Maybe it kind of the deadlocks. SAP level, SAP suppose sometimes, so deadlocks may occur because so one table, multiple users, if that's updating, then deadlock will update. Deadlock will occur here. Deadlocks will occur. The deadlocks are happening here in the system. Then so the related information will be displayed in the deadlocks transaction here. So what is the remote transaction ID which caused the deadlock? What is the blocked update transaction ID here? So here like this, it will display the all the information in the, so in this lock, who is the owner of the that deadlock owner. So thread details, all the information will be displayed here. Currently, we don't have any deadlock. So that's the reason here nothing is displayed here. Here, nothing is displayed here. So deadlocks. So if the transaction is blocked or locked for longer time, so the deadlock will happen here. The deadlock will appear here, right? Then SQL plan cache. So the SQL plan cache means cache in the system, in the HANA system, we have the multiple caches in the HANA system here. So something goes wrong. Sorry, multiple caches are available here. Cache means temporary storage area. So each cache, so suppose like this is the SQL cache, means all the SQL statements will be stored in the SQL plan cache here. All SQL statements will be so stored in the SQL plan cache here. So if it is the table cache, all the tables will be, table header information will be stored into the table cache here. So depends upon the cache, related information will be stored here. So the frequently accessed SQL statements will be stored into the SQL cache here. Instead of again building the query, getting the information, so the frequently accessed queries will be stored into the SQL plan cache here. The next one is the expensive statements, expensive statement trace. So as we discussed some previously, some statements are running from long time. We should know, we would like to trace what's running, why it is executing, why this much of time taking here. To track this trace analysis, so we should know, right? We should know. Then in this case, we can configure the trace here. We should configure the trace here. If you configure the trace, so the trace will be displayed here. The trace will come to this status here. The trace will come to this page here. The trace will come to here, right? The trace will come to this status here. So in this way, we can find out the traces and everything we can find out here. So, but currently we don't have any expensive statements. Even though if you configure it, nothing is showing here. So nothing is showing in the systems here. So right, nothing is showing in the systems here. So expensive statement trace here. So the statement trace is like, so it will gather it will collect the detailed information about your SQL statements. Expensive means a long running. Expensive means in the database level, it's expensive statements means long running statements. Some statements may run from longer duration, 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. That time, so some issues with the system. Then we may have to do check what is the exact this statement is doing. Is it currently updating or not updating? So if you enable the trace, you will come to know all the information here. You will come to know all the information. That is the reason. So the expensive statements trace, we have to enable it. Depends upon the situation. So job progress. If any system, there is some internal jobs that will progress here. If any jobs are progressing, that will show the related jobs here. If nothing, then now no jobs will be displayed here. So that is the one thing here, right? So, okay, just give me a minute. Let me bring charger. Yeah, sorry guys. So this way, this is the job progress, expensive statement trace. So plan cache, this all will comes under the performance tab only. So whenever any issues, system slowness, or so high memory utilizations, high CPU utilizations, then we can come to the here, we can check it out what causing the issue. So is there any user session, or is there any jobs are in progress? So is there any trace enabled by any user? So what exactly happening in the system? So if you come to the performance trace, you will come to know all the information. If you come to know all the information of the performance trace and everything here, alerts performance, all the information you will come to know here. That is the concept of the performance here, right? So is it clear? Any questions from anyone? Okay. So the next one, volumes tab. Volume tab means it's a volume, means as we discussed during the initial. So we have the volumes means drives. So maybe in the Windows language, C drive, D drive, E drive, like that we will check, right? Here in the Linux level, so volumes tab, volumes means we have the two types of volumes are available here: data volume and a log volume. /na data /na log volume here. So the respect to total volume, how much? The data volume, how much? Log volume, how much? So all the information is displayed here. Data volume and log volume. All the information is displayed here. All the information will be displayed in this scenario. Okay. So this is the volume tab here. This is the volume tab here. So all the information will be displayed in the system here. Volume tab here. Right. So that is the one thing here. Volume tab here. Okay. So data volume and /na log volume here. Data volume and /na log volume here. Okay. So this is the volumes related information here. Data volume and log volume here. Okay. Performance tab and volume. Just here we will not do anything here. Just we will see the space, whether we have the enough free space or not, that we will check it out here. That's it. Apart from that, nothing we will not check here, nothing here. Okay. So that is the volumes tab here. Data volume, log volume, data volume, log volume. Why? Because the data, why volumes are also very important here. In the main memory, in each table, there is a main memory, right? So here also we have the OS level also we have the /na data /na log volume also available here. In the OS level, we have the /na data and /na log volume is available here. This is the main memory here, right? In the main memory we have the delta storage, the main storage. So this concept will come after this completion. So the first data is in the main memory, right? So then after that, slowly the data will come to in the data folder as well. The OS level, it will come to the data folder as well, data folder and a log folder as well for the consistency purpose. So one copy of data is storing into the main memory, one more copy of data storing into the RAM memory. So one more copy as a backup, we will store into the separate devices, we will store the data, right? So here, so we need to check the, we need to monitor the data volume look and this log volume also we have to monitor, right? Data volume and log volumes also we have to monitor from here, right? So that is the concept of the volume tab here, right? So overview, OLAP, we completed overview, landscape, alerts, and performance tab and volumes tab here, right? So next one is called the configuration tab here.
1 second. How to increase the volumes?
OS level you have to increase, not here. OS level Linux team they will go and they will increase it.
Okay.
So
Will you please go to overview tab once? Overview tab.
okay.
Here, database resident, go to that resident memory. Here we have the database resident, total resident physical memory.
Right.
Can you please explain what this resident memory?
This memory concept still not completed. Once this is completed, I will explain this one.
Oh.
Still we have the HANA memory management. There is a separate topic, the main topic, separate topic. Okay, that time I will explain this. This will come to the picture. So that's why, yeah, that time it will come. Yeah. Just to explaining the basics now. Then after that, so we will go with the deeply we will go with the, so how the data volume will fill, how the log volume will fill, how the trace volume will fill. So which data will return into the log volume and the data volume and all those things here. So HANA memory management, there is a separate topic for the HANA memory management here. So all these things will come. Okay, so volumes tab. So then next one is the configuration tab here. So this is also one of the important tab. This is also one of the important tab in the configuration tab here. So configuration tab means the parameter changes here. So by default, we will get the few configurations, the default configurations we will get from here in the system, right? So by default configurations, either the system DB or tenant DB, we will get the default configurations here, default files. So each configuration, suppose the service related configurations, system related, services related configurations, like name server. So if you go to the name server.ini, index server.ini, the name server preprocessor, so statistic server, web dispatcher, access control, access engines, so doc server, daemon. So all the services are running means because of the configuration here. This configuration files here, because of the configuration files in the systems here, configuration files in the systems here. So in any case, so sometimes we may have to change the some parameters, some configuration settings we may have to change it here. So then you have to come to the configuration tab from system DB. You have to change it from the system DB only, because for controlling the tenant databases, for changes of the parameters of the system tenant databases, for stopping the tenant databases, for starting means entire administration of the tenant databases, we have to do it from the system DB only. We have to do it from the system DB only. So if you change it here, so then tenants also will get affected. So these are the configuration parameters here. Sometimes what happens, by default we will get the default parameters. Suppose like timeout parameter. Suppose like I will check the timeout here. You don't know parameter name, just in the filter name you can filter it out. We will get out. So by default, the session timeout parameter is the 24 hours, I guess, 1440 minutes. No, I don't want to 1440. I want so only 2 hours, like 120 minutes. Then you can change the new value to the 120 minutes, then save it here. Then your parameter value got changed here. So like this, many things are there here. If you know the correct value, then just you can choose the correct value. If you don't know, just you know only one word, just click the time module. You will get the related all the parameters will be displayed here. So based on that, based upon the full parameter, you can find out the so related information in the system here. Related information in the systems here. Like that, you need to change the value of the parameter here, so that this will perform the changes in the system here, right? This will be changed, right? So this is the parameter value here. This is the parameter values here. So anything like normally a timeout parameter. Let's see timeout here. This is the timeout, right?
Here nothing like static or dynamic.
Yeah, normally in the SAP level, we have the RZ10 and RZ11, how we will change the profile parameters. So same as like in the HANA level, in the configuration tab, we have to change the values.
So here right now we have changed the value of timeout, right? Under
Yes.
system DB.
Yes.
So the same will be reflected in tenant
Tenant
DB
also,
as well.
right. Why? Because it will affect to the tenant DB also. It will affect to the tenant DB also here. So 120 minutes I have changed here. The session 120 minutes it changed here, right? It changed to the 120 minutes here. So it will change. It will reflect to the system DB also. It will reflect to the tenants also. It will be affected here. So that is what we can do it here. So that is also one part here. So here, yeah.
Here system, here there is a columns like default system, database, and host, right? Here system and database. System is the system DB. Here database is the tenant DB, right?
Right.
Whatever we have done the changes, there it will be show the
That will show
green
the
signal.
yes. Default means all the default configurations. So everything will be here. It will be show the details here. All the default configuration in the default way. It will show the information here. All the default one. All the defaults. Then if you change it, the values will be displayed here. The values will be displayed from here and here. It will be displayed here. This is a host level. This is a host level change. Some parameters are host specific parameters. That time, so it will come to the here. So here you can see the, so there is a one parameter daemon deleted are the some host specific parameters. Host specific. So that time if you change it, it will be reflected here. So you will see the symbol here. You will see the host specific values here. Some settings are the host specific here. So
If
those,
you is there any parameters which are specific to tenant DB only? Even though for tenant DB
yes.
specific parameters also we need to do system from system DB itself.
So few parameters are tenant specific. Those are we have to do it from the tenant DB itself. So few are system DB. So we can if you change it here, it will change the tenant also. So few we have to change it from the tenant also. Suppose example memory parameters. So the only few means memory parameters here. So memory parameters are very important here. So here the memory parameters are like, so in the global.ini file, this is a very important, the global.ini file. So in the memory manager, here we have to change the values of memory controlling parameter. Memory parameters we have to change it here. Memory parameters we have to change it here. Suppose example, so global gal limit, we will call it as the gal limit, global allocation limit. You should remember this one. So global allocation underscore limit. Then global allocation threshold underscore threshold. Then statement memory limit. So these parameters are very, very important parameters. Why? Because it will limit the memory usage of your HANA database. Memory usage of your HANA database here. So if you set the some value here. So these are the three important memory parameters. It's a very, very important. Remaining is important. It's not very much important, but here in the global data NA, the memory parameters. So if you go to the memory management, memory manager, this global allocation limit, right? This is the global allocation limit. 0 means unlimited memory it is used. So no, I don't want to use the unlimited memory. I want to use only 25 GB only. So 25 GB only. If you set it out here directly in the tenancy database, it will not allow. See here. So I'm new, I don't know, but directly I'm going to change in the tenancy DB. See here, changes are not allowed for the specific setting. The change is not allowed for the tenancy database, which means we cannot directly go ahead and change in the tenancy database here, right? We have to go with the proper channel, which means why? Because here, so system DB will control all the tenants related changes and everything. So here, so we have to go to the memory manager. Where is the memory manager? So then, so here the global allocation limit. Suppose I want, so currently how much is allocated to so my tenant here, so only 35 GB is allocated. Right? I want to allocate only 25 GB. Why? Because this is not important. 25 GB only I have to allocate. Then I just do roughly 25 GB I have given here. 25 GB I have given just to execute here. Save it here. Right? 25 GB you have saved it here. Then go ahead and here 35 GB is there. Just refresh here. Then it changes to the 8 GB. It's not the correct value. It's not the 25 GB. Yeah, it's not the 25 GB. Yeah, only 8 is allocated here, right? So 10242048 so it's not the correct one. So maybe I need to increase the value here. Yeah, so it's 25, around 25 GB now, right? So around 25 GB now. So it's 25 GB
Sir.
allocated now. Like that, so
Sir,
like that. So see here, I have controlled the memory restriction here. Even though I have 13 40 GB, almost my main memory is available in that, I have restricted to use the 24 GB only. Yes, Marmik.
sir, here memory means, are you talking about like a same like a SAP, like a heap memory, extended memory, private memory, local memory, same?
Yeah, here memory means physical memory only. Only one memory we have, that is called the physical memory, RAM memory.
Okay.
Because in HANA, so HANA is purely so main memory mentality. So right, which means so why? Because all the data storing into the RAM memory only. So you want
Okay.
you want to restrict that usage. So you need to you want to restrict it. You want to give the restriction parameters. So these are the restriction parameters here. These are the restriction parameters here. Global allocation limit. Then statement memory limit thresholds. Why? Because sometimes each statement will consume the lot of memory. Something long running SQL statements will consume the system go crash. So to avoid that crash related activities, we need to set the statement memory limitations. We have to set it out here. So that based upon the statement memory limitations, so system will use that functionalities here. System based upon the statement memory limitations, so the statement will execute up to that particular level. Then after that, the statement will be cancelled here. So that one statement will be cancelled. but system will not go down, right, for others. So that will happen here. If the memory is very less, if the memory is very less, immediately the index server will get restarted. Index server will go get crashed. So why? Because HANA index server we will use the most of the memory here. Why? Because index server is the very important here to consume the most of the memory. So here index server will use the most of the memory here. So like that, we have the some memory parameters are very important here. So why? Because why I'm explaining only memory parameters means these are the very important for the every landscape, every system to restrict the all the memory usage. We can use the so memory parameters. We can just to restrict the memory usages so that it will use only that respective usage only that respect whatever the value you are defined here. It will detect the only that value only. It will use the only that the specific value only. It will use it here. So if you said zero means unlimited here. Unlimited means whatever the RAM memory you have 40 GB, 50 GB, 120 GB, 1 terabyte, it will use the 1 terabyte of the RAM memory here. If you put the some restriction, so it will use the 0 to 25 GB. Then once the 25 GB is crashed, then so it will stop using the that much of memory here. Your host will not go down. Only HANA will be restarted. The host will not go down here. If you don't put the restriction, host memory also will use it. Your operating system also will go hung status. Again, you have to restart your operating system. So you may come up with that type of situations here. So that is the reason this allocation parameters are very important to set it out here. So that's why if you go everywhere, every interview, first of all, they will ask you, can you tell me the memory restriction parameters? So where can we change it here? In the system DB, in the memory manager, global data NA, memory manager, there we have to change the three parameters are four are very important. One is the global allocation limit, statement memory limit, statement memory thresholds. These parameters are very important. So we have number of parameters are there, but these are the very important parameters. So whatever, suppose you want to do some changes in the access engine, so you can directly go to here, change what you want to change. You can, if you don't know, then in the filter condition, you can search it out here. In the filter condition, you can just give the filter name, just give the parameter name, it will be displayed here. Even if you don't know what parameters you have to change it, as part of the recommendations from SAP, your customer or your manager will ask you to do some specific set of parameters. They will ask you to change it here. So those parameters you can change it here. So even then, how can I know which parameters is required the restart or not here? There is a SAP standard. So there is a one standard block there. On standard block there we can check the whether its restart is required or not here. Let me SAP HANA. There is a one standard there is a one knowledge base here. How to check if the system restart is required or not here. So there is a one article, actually one blog, SAP standard blog. Yes, this is the one. So here in this section here, suppose one parameter, right? Global allocation limit, right? Global allocation limit. So we want to know whether this parameters restart is required or not. Just click this button, select the parameter, click this button so that here is restart is required or not. No, right? So restart is required or not, false, which means so restart is not required to change this parameter. So few parameters restart is required. So those parameters we can find out from here. So all will be available here. So simply we can find out here. So which parameter? Suppose statement memory limitation parameters. Just search. A statement memory limitation parameter. The statement memory. This is also restart is not required. If the restart is required, true means definitely we have to do the restart. Definitely we have to do the restart. So this is the dynamic value. So which means it will set it the immediately it will set it out here. So this is the one. This will be very useful actually. So this is the very useful. This is a helpful document. It will give the clear information whether the restart is required or not. Suppose tomorrow your manager asked you to give the set of parameters and he asked you to check whether the restart is required or not. Then you can directly go to this blog and put your parameter here. Then it will give the information here. So, but see here, this is the one of the parameter. To set this parameter, restart required true, which means we have to definitely we need to do the restarts. Restart is required here. So few are restart is required, few are not required. How to find out means there are multiple methods. So in this is the one of the method here. This is the one of the method one. So hereby you can find out the so whether the restart is required or not. This way we can find out. Okay. So this is
Sir,
the
what is that host specific and host not specific? You talk. Any example?
so host specific here you can see here something are highlighted here. So diamond.ini. The diamond.ini instances are 0 here. So these are the host specific value, host specific. Suppose daemon is operating system level process, right? Operating system level process. If you just change it to the one or maybe one, so not sure what will happen, but if you change it, daemon will go down. So maybe two. So I'm not sure what is this process. So that uh, so like this we can instances maybe default 0 means one will be allocated. One means it's down, I think. So maybe doc server instances. So if you change it to the one, yeah, I think doc server will be created here. So here you can see here. So direct changes are not allowed. So use the alter database, add service name instead. So here they are saying that you don't to use this one. Here they are saying that so use the command. So you are host specific that we cannot do here. Normally we won't change any host specific here. Only either the database or so the system. These two is normally we will change it here. This will come as part of the installations. Here we need to check more. What are the host specific more? Index server. What is the index server related anything here? Yeah, doc server means create the additional process, operating system level additional process here. So here we have the one index server. We want to create the one more index server here. So that time I think here we have to enable the so two, but here we cannot use directly here. We have to use the alter command. We have to use it here. Alter database name, add service. Yeah, we have to use the one command. We have to use it here. So that time the value come to the here. The host specific directly we cannot change it here. We need to use the some alter commands here. In the SQL prompt, just right click and open the SQL console. Here we have to execute the commands. Alter commands we have to execute it. So that will be changed here. So web dispatcher. If you don't want to web dispatcher, so yeah, this is the one by default path name of the web dispatcher. So yeah, few are there, few are not specific. So those things we want to change, we need to use the alter commands, not directly from the here. That is what the here the error message is saying. What other more things we have? Global data NI. So no, we will see in the tenant DB here, configurations. In the tenant DB, the host specific is nothing is there here. So we cannot change it anything in the tenant DB. Everything in the system DB. In the system DB itself, we have to open the SQL compare. We have to use the alter commands. We have to change it here. So that is about the configuration tabs here. Normally, we won't change anything in the default configurations here.